Good morning, factory workers. Senior Honcho here with another episode of the morning coffee. Let's go ahead and fill our cup while we talk about our developments from yesterday. Oh, we're going to need this today. Oh, that's good. Okay, so yesterday, we started talking about the city planning effort and how I was using AI for it and realized I needed to get decent summary, so I wasn't scrolling all over the place looking for this. I was working with the AI most of the morning today, getting that resolved, and figured out that the AI doesn't quite understand the map very well. Um, so went back and forth with that all morning. I think we finally came to a consensus on that, and I've got enough out of the AI that I have a plan moving forward. So once I said, lay these out with a coordinate system over the map and tell me where you're thinking that these cities are going to go. And it was like, oh, it had the Rocky Desert somewhere like southwest of the western beaches, where if you look at the map, it was like down here. It's like, and I'm like, that's not the right location. And so, um, what we, and I use the term we loosely because it was AI, um, ended up doing was overlaying a 200 by 200 coordinate grid, which is not the actual coordinate grid. The actual coordinate grid here, if you see the coordinates here, are not the same. And I believe that where is our 0, 0 point on this grid? 0, 0 should be, if I remember right, it should be right around here. Let's see, we're minus is north, which is weird. Okay, there is our 0x line, or sorry, 0y line, and using that same logic. So right here this is in the red bamboo fields. That's about as close as we're going to get with the mouse cursor. Unless I zoom way in, then we've got a little bit finer grain here. And we can see our 0, 0 point is actually like right here on this cliff. So that's our like center point. I should write these down as I find these out, because this is actually good information. I can recalibrate everything according to in-game coordinates, just for a little bit more specific locations. But I have a rough idea of where everything else is now. And this is actually, oh, I guess I don't need to. I've got the coordinate systems on the map. Never mind. Okay. But anyway, um, because this coordinate system is actually backwards compared to the one that we did. So we did um, negative 200 was this corner, which is it's the right negative in the x, but for y, the negative is up here, which is really strange, right? So it's actually increasing as you go down. This is it's typical. These are programming coordinates. So the way software views the screen is 0, 0 is the upper left of the screen, and then it increases over here. So your highest positive coordinate is your lower right hand corner. So that's the way that computers map out the screen. So this is in computer coordinate system, basically. Um, That being said, we're looking at our different cities being so our foundation city, and I had it give me some name suggestions, so we could do a little voter poll on what we name it. Um, we just need to get viewership up so that we have more than one vote at a time. In the meantime, I'm going to call them by um, their normal ones. So let me clear my resources off of here, and let's talk about. Oh, actually, before we start into that, that's the actual work for the day. Let's talk about some of my offline task list. Let's get some coffee for this because this was a nightmare. As you can see, we are still in tier 4. We did get our nuclear pasta done, but our assembly directors are being a pain, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. So we didn't make it to phase 5 yet, unfortunately. Um, if we take a look at this, I did go collect a few Mercer spheres and upgrade our depot. So I'm now at 2 stacks. How far did I get? I think I got at least one more bump down the alien tech tree. Let me scroll down. Yeah, so now I've got 2 stacks with the second upgrade. I do have enough spheres for... How many spheres did I get? With one more sphere, I can do one more upgrade of each one, but we need fluctuators, and I had to work on getting fluctuators kind of figured out. So, did that. I'm going to leave those on there because of that. I did get a summary plan of summarize the AI plans with the AI help. So I have that. The Hyper Canyon blueprints and network I did not get to. Now I'll go into why. Reason being, really wanted to get into the Phase 5 stuff so that we could have our final belts. And this turd right here is making our assembly directors. It needs the adaptive control units, which is being done here. These adaptive control units need computers. Our computers were basically deadlocked to where they weren't producing. It wasn't circuit boards, it was cable. And I'm like, well, where is it getting cable from? Well, you see this, that now that it has a skyline, you can kind of see I kind of half factoried um, open air. It's kind of half box factory, half open air factory out here in this copper area that I have. Yeah, Copper Canyon is what I called it, and over here we're creating our copper powder. I have some copper wire being produced, and I have cable being produced. However, we had just 3 little constructors down here, just barely producing any cable at all. Um, and it was really slow rolling. Um, Now we've got a couple stacks in there since the last time the train has been running, and we've got a nice solid stream of wire coming in, and all of this was expansion. I had basically I had this setup feeding wire to the cable thing. So just 3 smelters, 3 constructors, and this isn't even well balanced because one smelter should be feeding 2 constructors because these are 15 per minute intakes and these are producing 30 per minute. So this isn't even well balanced. This should be 6 constructors per for 3 smelters. And I'm like, oh, this is all wrong. These are just, this is just my wire though. I have plenty of wire. I'm not really using it anywhere else. So that's not an issue. So I didn't bother changing that. However, our cable was an issue, and so I balance this out. I still have my three smelters. Now that's going to six constructors there. Um, but then I'm like, you know what? I want more than three smelters. So I came out to this node where I was producing these copper sheets because I noticed this belt was fully loaded. And I expanded this out another five smelters. I don't know why five. It was just a random. Let's throw a bunch at it. I think, um, or was it because that's eight on this? Let's see. These are 30 per minute. That's 240 per minute, and this is producing 240 per minute. That's why. Um, so that this should be a balanced system. It's being deadlocked because of the fact that I'm not burning off all of this copper up here. I'm actually a little overproducing um, based on this because the numbers got weird on uh, because I had a 5-3 split on those smelters. So with five, it ended up being what is that? 150 ingots plus the three. Well, that would have been eight. Eight. So that should have been 240, and um, math. 240 divided by 15, 16, and I did 12. So I could do four more on another floor, and that would balance that out. But I'm already, then I would have to rebalance this again. But we have room for expansion if we need to, based on what I've got going in there now. So that took a long time just to figure out this whole cable thing. One, I had to figure out why computers were still being slow and not being produced, and then two, I had to figure out where the cable was coming from, and then come up with a plan to try and increase the output of the cable. And we've got some other things that are not producing anything, like these. Well, these actually look like they're full. Are we just full on frames? Is that it? Maybe that's why this isn't producing. I don't know. See, look, it doesn't look like... Those look like those are... These... Oh, I know what that is. These are the ones being used for fuse module frames. That's what this chemical depot is here. But this isn't running, which means we're not producing any? Or are we just... What's the deal? Right? I don't understand. Where is... Is this this is a blender producing fused modular frames. We have no aluminum casings coming in. That's this one. This should be where we're dumping the aluminum casings. So we might have an aluminum problem that we have to go address. But as of right now, it's not a major issue. Because we're gonna start rebuilding stuff anyways. As soon as we get into phase 5. So that's where we're at. Let me go pick up the fluctuators that... Oh yeah, let's talk about fluctuators. It's the SAM fluctuators. Because that was a bit of a pain in the butt too. Because I didn't have depots for a couple things that were causing me pain. Alright, we're going to take this tube, and I'm going to have a sip of coffee while we head out there. So we'll talk about this, and then we'll go back and I'll tell you kind of what happened with AI this morning, and kind of what our new city plan is. We've got to make some adjustments on that. I do like that. And I had to suggest some city names. So We can vote on those names as well. Um, and I can, and maybe what we'll do is we'll put the list in there, and if I get anybody on that's willing to vote, we'll start talking about the city names, or I'll just pick the one I like. All right. So the little bit of SAM that we're using right now is out here. This is not going to be our final SAM factory location, although I do agree that will be an epic skyline. Um, so our base location is going to be right here on this cliff overlooking this lake. Uh, so we're going to build out our new base of operations there. That's gonna, and that'll look pretty sweet actually. Good job, AI. AI suggested that location. Um, all right, so we do have fluctuators. We might have to we might have to ditch some things here. Can I load those up? Yeah, okay. I've got room for those. All right. From all the construction and deconstruction. That's the one thing with that with the dimensional depots. You can use them as like just temporary storage for things, but also if you have them automatically being pushed to something, you can't get rid of it. So you end up deleting some things as you go, which is not necessarily a bad thing. If you're overproducing stuff and you can't fit it in, there's no problem deleting, some materials and parts. The ones you want to avoid doing that to are the expensive ones, right? So like turbo motors and fuse modular frames and uh, radio control units. Those expensive parts that take a while. The high tier uh, parts. You don't want to get rid of those. But things like ingots and concrete, uh, even reinforced plates, which are fairly low tier items, those you want to get rid of. Let's see, especially if you have something that's automatically feeding those to you through your dimensional depot. All right, so we'll go ahead and upgrade. Oh, I gotta grab my spheres out of my dimensional. Uh, oh, and we need to go find one sphere. Hmm. I gotta think of where there's a sphere close by. I know where we can get a fairly easy one now that I have a couple things set up. Let's do stack. Let's go ahead and increase our stack size. Oh, we're not going to have enough fluctuators. See, this is the problem. It's you saw how many fluctuators I had, so
Dimensional expansion increased to 300%. New
yeah.
understanding of matter manipulation technology allows the dimensional storage to deconstruct all matter to the subatomic. You are digging into deeper layers.
Shush. I don't want to hear all that again. Um, on this, yeah, we're gonna need another 100 fluctuators for that, so we're not quite there yet. But we did increase it. We are now at 3 stacks in our depots. That should be plenty for what we need to do for now. And then we'll just deal with the speed. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pushing a 3rd stack of this, then put those in, and I'll put more fuel in because our truck ran out of fuel and probably will run out of fuel again, but he's temporary. We're not going to be using trucks for anything in our new layout. I guess we could for maybe ores instead of using a push-pull train, but we're not going to. Okay, so let's head back to the office and talk about the AI plan. All right, here we are in a little office space here. The AI plan, if we look at the map, let's turn off our resources so we can look at where we had our cities placed. resources here. We'll turn those off. Okay. So Steel City, it still is putting out here, which is an interesting location because there's some good coal nodes right here at the cave opening. So it's a little out of space, but that's okay. Our foundations is still here. Now, and then this is where in our oil stuff, fuel city stuff is still here. What do we have here? Consumable city is going to change. So we're going to take this one out. Remove marker. What do we have here? Alien Tech City is not going to be here. We're going to take that. Framework City, no. We don't have a Framework City anymore. Project Assembly City, I gotta think if I like it there. I may keep that there. I may override the AI. AI was putting it down here, but I think we're gonna change that. Nuclear Power City. It was saying to put it up here. I think. Let's see if we like this or if I like this spot better. I may override AI on a couple of these. So let's start with our start base, our new start base, and I like this now that I've seen it. Um, our start base is going to be right here, and this is going to be our what do we have a name for this? No. Um, we'll just call this our command center for now. And that's going to be right here, and that's going to overlook this lake. This is also a very central point. So remember, 0, 0 was right here, right in this area. So we're very central on the map, and with this height and elevation, when we go up from this point, we should be able to see most of the map. Let's take a look at. No, let's not. We're not even close to there right now, and that'll give us a nice jump off point when we start the stream to be able to go to where we need to go pretty quickly, especially with the hypercannon network that we're going to produce. Um, Next, our central logistics hub, um, which is going to be pretty much our interchange for our rails, is going to be here as well. Central logistics hub. That's interesting. Let's we're gonna put a marker in here, and this is going to be, and we're gonna switch the icon on this to the train, and we're gonna call this logistics hub. That's interesting. It's not the warehouse though. I didn't quite catch that when I read through it the first time. Okay, Iron Backbone City, which is still our foundation city, is still in the Rocky Desert. Um, and our Steel City is still out here. Then our oil and rocket fuel city is still down here. Our electronic city is going to be out here in the Dune Desert. Now it has it at 130, 120 on our simplified coordinate system, which part for Dune Desert it's huge. So we definitely want to make sure we're kind of in the right part of the Dune Desert per the suggestion. 120. Yeah, okay. So we're like mid mid river, right in like this area here. So right about here is where it's suggesting to put our electronics city. And we're going to apply that there. Okay. Then our advanced material city. Where did we have advanced materials? Oh, so electronics, this gets removed. This one. gets removed. That is now going to move into the northern forest. Hit 0, 80. Yes, that's where I thought. Um, right here on the start area, um, which right now we're calling Hilltop Forge, but this will end up being our advanced materials city. That. Next is our nuclear city, and it has it in the upper Rocky Desert here, because this is where we're currently um, mining our uranium. But I think I want to do this out here, because I have never done a nuclear power plant on the waterfall, and I've heard it's supposed to be like one of the best places to do it. So maybe we'll have two. So we'll have a Nuke City 1 and a Nuke City 2. We can definitely use the extra power. Um, you know, per per things that I've seen, if we're at like the 180 gigawatts range, we don't have to worry about power anymore. Um, so we're gonna put this as Nuke Power City 2, and then we're going to say this is oops. We don't want that. We're going to put a new one here for nuke. Not muke. Yeah, muke. Nuke City. Nuke City 1 goes there. So you can see we're still leveraging a lot of the Rocky Desert here, which is kind of nice for our rebuild purposes. I did tell it that that's where our original base was. Alien Tech City. No, I thought this was kind of interesting where it was putting this. And I'm just double checking because I knew where it was describing or where I thought it was talking about. And yeah, it has it right about here in the southern part of the swamp, which I thought was pretty an interesting location. I'm not aware of. I mean, I know there's some big SAM nodes in this area here. There's one up here at the top of the waterfall, and then there's another one down where the coal nodes are as well. Here, so in this area here, there's some coal nodes. So there's a there's a couple good SAM nodes down here. So we may move this city over towards this plateau, the swamp plateau here a little bit. Uh, as long as it doesn't interfere with our Nuke City, because I think Nuke City is going to go out into the swamp more for the plutonium processing. We'll get it further because our first ones will be up against here in the so our uranium towers will be close to the waterfall. Our plutonium ones will be a little bit further out, and then we'll have our Fixium ones the furthest out. Because as we move further out, we don't need to be close to the uranium. So we'll basically plan on moving it this way, and because of the this is sorry Alien Tech City. Let me finish this marker. Alien Tech City pontificating as out here we have all this open water that we can build on, so we can continue to come out this way as needed. So we're going to sprawl that out a little bit, I think. Plus, we need lots of water being pulled in to keep those cool. So we'll definitely be able to get enough power out of here. That's the nice thing about being up here too. Is if we build that nuke city here, we'll spend a bit of power to move water up the cliff faces to kind of hang off of that, or we could actually build out over this water as well um, for that. That's actually not a bad idea because that's a nice large area that we could do. But it was suggesting like making kind of something that is like towers on the cliff side. What did it say for that? It was did it have? It gave some like description of why to put the nuke city there. Oh, we're not there yet. Um, Nuke City. Oh, here we go. It says high plateau, isolated from the rest of traffic, easy waste, spur north. Um, Lace rail can extend towards Titan Forest or Biscliff's edge. Why would we send waste all the way across the map? Titan Forest is over here. Um, and the Abyss Cliffs is way down here. I'm not going to send waste all the way over here. That's ridiculous. And we're gonna process all of our waste anyways into clean, so that's not a big deal. Anywho, no, it must have been my try before that it said about why it put Nuke City there. Uh, let's see. I still ended up having a giant scroll list, but at least it's all kind of. Here we go. Um, oh yeah, because this has all of the possible names for our nuke city. Radmere. I didn't catch that before when I was reading through it. Brightfall was the one that it suggested. Um, Radmere. I kind of like Radmere. One of them's going to be Radmere. And then uh, Halcyon Point. Halcyon Point. I wonder what that has to do with. That seems like it's based on something um, nuclear related. Um, Halcyon Point. Hmm. Health Halcyon Health. I don't know. Uh, that didn't have the description either. I'm not gonna dig for it, but it was saying that it was something like the glowing skyline of the high cliff area over there. And I'm like, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool to have like a couple reactors like kind of hanging out on the cliff faces and stuff like that. But I think maybe what we'll do is we'll do a so the ratio of reactors is a 4-to-1. So four um, uranium reactors to two plutonium to one fixium. In that's your clean burn ratios. Maybe we'll do a 1-1 here and a 2 out here. That would give us 4 nuclear ones there, 8 nuclear ones here, 4 plutonium, and 2 fixium ones, and then with room to expand if we need more. But that's going to be each one of those produces 25, uh, yeah, 2,500 megawatts. So if we do the math on that, so each set is 4-to-1 is what is it 7? So 7 times 2,500. So if we have these running nonstop, we're getting 17.5 gigawatts um, and I think it's per minute out of those, whatever the production rate is. Um, so then if we multiply that by 3, that gets us 52.5 out of that, and uh, which is pretty good. If we extend that to 4 setups, that puts us at 70, 5, 6, 7 puts us at the 120. So that's 7 sets is a lot. That's a lot, a lot, a lot. I don't know if we want to run that much, um, but we'll start off with 3 because we're going to augment with the rocket fuel power generators. And when we do the math on that, you're going to see why. You could almost skip nuclear altogether if you want to build that out. It does take a lot of space though because it it's a very long line, and you're going to have to run multiple lines because you're going to reach um, pipe maximums on stuff. But it's a very cool system, and I did it. I actually fixed our power in the previous morning coffee save doing that. Okay, enough about that. Let's continue on with this. We've got a couple more cities to lay out on here. Um, where were we at? We just did alien tech. So after alien tech, we've got our consumable city. And that is going to be the one we have down in our grass fields area. Negative 40 and negative 110. Yeah, and it basically, it really doesn't matter. This where right now it's called Warehouse City. This is not going to be Warehouse City. This is going to be our consumable city. Consumables city. Apply. And then project assembly capital is our final one. And it was saying Blue Crater out here, um, which we haven't been to. I was like, yeah, I mean, we could do that. The only problem is that this area out here is is open space. We if we fall off of that, it's an instant death. I'd really like to have it over the water, so I think I'm going to keep that up here. And I'm just going to tell AI that I'm going to move. Um, what what is that? That is the Spire Coast. Um, or we could put it off. Well, we've got a lot of cities up on the north side of the map. We're not really utilizing the south side of the map. So we could put it out here. I've done that build already though. I've done that before. I haven't done one up here. And it really doesn't matter where we put it because we're going to train everything in. And this area up here is pretty much underutilized in all of my playthroughs. Mm, that and out here as well. I haven't really ever played out here using that too much. We're using it a bit on the server, but not anything like I haven't done. I have a save that I've done a start out here, but it's more on this side than this side. Um, the area is just so big and rocky. It looks cool. It reminds me of Tatooine out here. Um, hmm, yeah, let's yeah, we'll keep it where it's at for right now. We can always change it if we want, but I do want to build it there. Okay. I moved. I'm just telling AI that I moved it. I moved the project assembly city. And we lost our warehouse city. I don't know if that is our logistics hub now. That seems awfully small for our warehouse, but maybe not. Move project assembly city to north of the Spire Coast out over the water. Um, also, is our logistics hub also our central warehouse? Did that get removed? All right. Well, we'll let AI figure that out. Um, we our build order is still Foundation Cities first. Um, well, let's see. Oh, I love that move. Oh, hold on. I got to get my AI voice, which is my narrator voice, warmed up. Oh, I love that move. Putting Project Assembly out over the water north of Spire Coast turns it into a true endgame monument instead of just another factory. Let's lock that in properly and clarify the hub situation. Project Assembly, new location locked. Biome Spire Coast, new coordinates 60, 170. Offshore platform north of coastline. Why this is excellent. Visually dominant from half the map. Clean separation from industrial cities. Trains approach on elevated sea bridge equaling cinematic. Final deliveries feel like a journey to the capital. This becomes the capital of the continent. Massive terminal station, 8 plus inbound freight platforms, no manufacturing except final assembly. Architectural centerpiece for stream finale. There you go. You're welcome. Is the logistics hub also the central warehouse? Short answer yes, and it should stay that way. We did not remove it, but we should clarify its role so there's no confusion. Central Logistics Hub reaffirmed. Biome, Crater Lakes. Coordinates -75, 15. This is both Continental Rail interchange. All major dual track trunks intersect here. We'll have a buffer yard and a smart splitter redistribution. And central warehouse for our SIP storage. And SIP is, as a reminder, is our standard input palette, which is going to store HMF, computers, motors, fused frames, pressure cubes, AI components, fuel overflow. Feeds go to our project assembly, our dimensional depots, and emergency supply routing. Think of it as Grand Junction Terminal and Reserve Authority. It's not a manufacturing city. It's a distribution plus buffer plus overflow control point. And then it goes on to talk about it's given me an ASCII map of sea bridge. I like that. And we're gonna do like a sea bridge. So we'll have like this main kind of because our main line's gonna end up coming through our logistics hub, right? All roads lead to the logistics hub. And with this one being out here, if we come, if and I don't, I think I ran the main line through here through the northern forest instead of along the canyon floor. Normally I do canyon floor, but I ran it through the northern forest instead. We may change that because if we've got, or we bridge out over and then dive down into the coastal region, which is fairly low in water level, and then run that raised rail bridge out into the capital city. Oh my gosh, yes, I could see it now. I'm picturing it. It's gonna look like that scene from um, Hunger Games when they're going to the capital city and they're on that rail and they're heading into that capital city. That's going to be awesome. We're going to see the space elevator out in front over the water with its sprawling um, manufacturing lines for the different parts. So we're going to have to do some futuristic like design work on those factories so that it looks epic for our end game. That's going to be cool. We're going to take our time with that one. That's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that. I love that idea. Um, all right. It goes on to talk about some of the other summary crap that is very verbose. That's one thing about working with AI. You get sometimes you get too much information. Okay. So I think this is a good plan for us then. And here, so this is going to end up being our warehouse as well. I'm going to go ahead and add that logistics hub slash warehouse as well. All right, enough talky talky. Let's get to work. All right, so planning done. All right, um, we need to head back out here into our rocky desert. Oh, where? What were my coordinates for that? Let's see. Coordinates for our foundation city, and we'll talk about names for foundation city since we're going to build it out. Let's see. Is this the right one? No, that is the old one. Okay, yeah, this one. Um, Here we go. Negative 150, 40. Negative 150 and 40. That's 50, 40. Yep. So right about where we have our hypertube, we're going to call that the city center. And this is where we're going to bring stuff into. And the first thing we need to do is figure out, I think we started, did we start a platform for our concrete out here? I think we did. I see a train station over there. Let's continue with that because we're still on plan for that. What did it suggest for names for this? So our suggested names for this, and we'll go ahead and put these into here because we're not quite that far east now. We're going to be more over here, but that's okay. Foundation City. Subcategory name is going to be where we put our possible names. And let's see, what did it come up with for this one? And I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably build out the new hub area uh, off screen and have it as a surprise for the next time because I need something to do during the week. All right, so we have options of Red Crest, Iron Veil, or Ruston Heights. It's kind of like Rust in Peace. All right, so those are our possible names. So if you have an opinion on a name for this, which one of those you like, go ahead and drop that into chat, and we'll see how that goes. I think the first one will make it best out of 5. So first one to get 3 votes, that's what we'll name it. And yeah, what is this? The hub. Oh, okay. That's our current hub. Okay. Alrighty, and we'll be moving our hub over here into our new command center. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go ahead and build that out because I kind of want to spend some time. I want to make it cohesive, and I've got to build some parts that are going to take some time for like the research area and things like that. Um, and I'm going to have to clear some bad guys from over there too, because that's not exactly a super safe area. All right, back. Oh, hey, doggo. Are you one of my doggos? I started collecting doggos. I don't think he's one of mine. He'd be looking at me. Let's see. I've got room to give him a treat. There we go. Put him here. And then put that down here. Let's see if we can get him to come in. Go get your berry. Did I not get close enough? I didn't get close enough. Alright, let's pick up our berry. We'll split this one. Grab that. Alright, we're going to sneak up on him so we don't scare him off. Oh, don't go the other way. No, I gotta... Oh, there he goes. Okay. Sit still for a second. I don't want to get too close because I've got to stand up. Come here, doggo. Ah, come on, man. Okay, this should be good. There, he's noticed it. He's gonna get it. Nom nom nom. Yay, we got another doggo. Yeah, hi. Alright, let's call you... Let's see, I've been using dog names. I think Lassie I haven't used yet. Okay, Lassie, go get us stuff. Aren't you... that's a face only a mother could love. Alright. Cutest, ugliest dog. You're so ugly, you're cute. That's alright. We were going to do a push-pull station on this, so we needed to be able to put another station in here. And I'm betting... Oh my gosh, I bet I don't have enough of something. Oh no, look at that, we're good. Okay. So we do that. Now, I haven't really done this before, so I'm not sure. Both of these stations have a name on them. That's interesting. I don't know how that's going to work. I guess we call them by their coordinates, so one would be north and one would be south. I guess. I don't know. So what does this look like? This looks like this when we put a train on here. Now, the AI is saying, you know, use an eight car minimum. I'm like, I'm not doing that for these little mining sites. That's just ridiculous. And I'm not going to follow that religiously. Because it doesn't, I'm not going to run an 8 car train when I'm only going to use 4. That doesn't make any sense unless I need spacers. So like if we want a part to go into a certain slot, then you would put empty cars in up to 8, but we're not going to go over 8. That's kind of the rule of thumb I use for that, is when you're setting up a train system that you want to try and standardize this is what we don't have. We don't have motors. Gosh darn it. And I wondered if I've got a meteor nearby. Do I have a scanner? I don't have a scanner on me. Poop. Darn it, I knew I was missing motors. That was one of the depots I haven't set up yet. Which direction? We're pointing back over there. I wonder how far this is going to shoot me. Whoop. I think it's going to shoot me over to Crater Lakes, though, because that's motors right there. That's what we want. If you hit a hypertube while you're flying, even though you're out of power range, you can still use your hover pack to slow your descent. Make sure you're not on your feet though, because otherwise you are free falling, and you will take a lot of damage. If I remember right, the new fall mechanics though is if you're full health and you fall, it will just make it so that if you take any additional damage, you die. But I don't think it'll kill you. But I haven't really tried that yet. I mean, we could try it, see, to do it right by the hub so that we're really close when we respawn, so we can pick up our our gear. That's the only downside of falling is your gear ends up in a chest. Okay, so I mean we have like a ton of motors, right? We don't. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and push our 3 stacks into um, our dimensional depot so that we have those available. And then what I want to do, I want to put a dimensional depot on it, but I don't want to spend the sphere because we want to upgrade it. The spheres are the bane of my existence. Loops are even worse. Well, loops and spheres, they're just oops, oopsie. I cut the power to my to my. If you double tap the C, it'll just turn your pack off and drop you. Um, so keep that in mind. That's what I just did by accident. And it sent me plummeting to the earth. Let's sort that back out. I don't have anything in here I care about right now. Oh, the other thing I was doing too is I went through and because we hit 100% yesterday, I was like, well, to be truly 100%, we need to buy everything out of the awesome shop. We did the golden night yesterday. I don't know if we get to 1,000 tickets, we'll do it again on the save. But uh, I haven't ever bought the other trophies. So we may go through and do that. This, I believe, is the only tab I bought a boombox. Oh, yeah, I bought a boombox. And we have all these tapes available. I have 2 more tapes left to buy, and then we can start buying these things down here. I think that's all I have left to buy. I think I bought everything else in the awesome shop. So we have everything available from all of the other tabs. Through and got all the customizer stuff. Bought all the patterns. Bought all the roof materials. All the foundations. All the walls. All the architecture stuff, including the new stuff. So I ended up getting the elevator. I think we will use the elevator somewhere in one of our cities. I think that'll be cool. I already have a coffee cup. These you can buy multiples of. So these are considered consumables. So if I ever lose my coffee cup, I can get another one. I don't know why you would need 2 coffee cups, but same thing with parts. These never gray out. You can anytime you're out of parts and you need parts, you can always use tickets to purchase additional ones. I believe it'll give you a stack of that item for that purchase price. So, um, we could have bought a stack of computers to speed up our stuff, but I don't use this one because I would rather spend it on stuff like trophies and things like that. Uh, yeah, so let's turn on some music, eh? Let's go ahead and put that in here. And let's see, because I haven't heard all these tapes. Um, let's see, open our menu. Change tape. So we have Songs of Conquest. I've heard that one a lot. The Very Merry Fixmas, the Fixmas board leftovers. All it's too late for Fixmas. Absolute Fix It. I haven't heard this one. Let's play that one. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I have heard this one. Ooh. Oh yeah. We're jamming. The cool thing too is you can place it so you have your music around the hub, and then spatial. So as you move away from it, your music gets softer. So if you're too far away, it's kind of like getting into the dance club. And then you can interact with it here and pick it up. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, that's our turbo bass. What? Can I turn the volume down? Yeah, I can. A little loud. Okay. Especially since we got it right in our ear. I need to be able to talk, too. Okay. Hi. Now we're having fun. Head back out. Finish our train. Let's make sure we have everything we need. Yep, we're good. Okay. Train. Start it. Shoot. I just ended up putting my boombox on top of the train. Shoot. You gotta move up, dude. Alright. I'm gonna equip this. Let's just switch off of that. Let's go to our gun, which we normally keep equipped. No. Yes. Bring it right to the edge. There we go. So on a push-pull train, you've got one going one direction and one going the other direction. And this will allow us to do a single rail stop in between our two locations. Now, with our city, we're going to end up putting our steel city back over there, which doesn't impact us whatsoever. Okay. What items are we making here? Concrete, iron plates, iron rods. So we're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 city blocks to make our items. Okay, that's not bad. In we'll have lots of room for that. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our input stations back here, and then we'll build out this way so that the output is gonna be near our main line, which our main line is gonna come through here um, and up to our hub, which is now going to be up there. So I think mainline's going to probably route up that ramp that's over there. I like that idea better. Did you find anything, buddy? No. Okay, Lassie. Good dog. I didn't think would have found something that quick. Alright. So crossing these other rails is going to be tricky. We may... I'm not quite sure how I want to do that, because if we're laying this stuff out differently, and what I want to do is I want to make sure that our cities... Actually... Sorry, I'm in the mid-thought here. I just want to make sure that we're doing this right. We can always change it. Our first city is going to be the worst because we really don't know what the heck we're doing. As we get kind of a flow, we'll figure it out. I don't want those. Ooh, I'm going to do 4-meter ones for the bases on the foundations, because those stick up higher off the ground. And it looks like our elevation's here. Let's go ahead and put our first input here. Zoop me, please. And we're going to go 5 out this way. 5 out this way. Actually, that's 6 on these. We're going to do this 5 times. One more. Okay. Then we'll clear our vegetation. And you can do multiples, and eventually I'm gonna, I should turn these into cluster ones. Because cluster ones work really well, but these aren't doing too bad. I only needed 3 to clear that area. Alright, now we need to do our another station platform here. Station platform. Let's send that the other way. And station. Good. Like that. Now the question is do we want... I don't... I don't normally do contour rails like this. That, to me, is kind of a noob thing to do. So what I want to do is for our new rails that we're going to be making all over the place, I want to do 1-meter platforms as my base. With some air gapping for transitions, I think. Do we want to do that, or do we want to have more elevated rail? Don't know. Pick up these remains. These remains are good for tickets. Alright. We don't have any power to the system right now. We will when we get to the other station, because I've got it tied into the network over there. So let's build out from that one. We have our platform here, that our incoming platform. Let's get our... Because once we have this connected, we can start delivering our limestone to create our first block in our city. Yeah, city. Actually, I didn't want to do rails yet. I wanted these platforms to come out. I'm gonna come out 6. Can I do 6 without hitting the ground? Yes. And I do want to clear this stuff then. Let's see if it'll clear from the top. It's good. Then I kind of want to go on this angle here. And one of the ways I've been doing this for gaps is I'll put one here like that, and then on the top, if you hold control, you can adjust the angle. And if I want to go 45 like that, and then I'll go out a certain number of spaces. Typically for 45, I think you can do it however far you want, but this will be basically the gap to where you start your other one. So 4 usually is good. It gives you a 3 foundation gap that looks like it's too far back. Maybe it's shorter, maybe it's longer. So let's try 5 and see. I know I'm kind of talking to myself because you guys don't know what the heck I'm doing yet. So now I lay this in one underneath like that, and then I can continue this out in my new direction like that. And we'll do 6 there. Then I can take this top layer off in my anchor here. Now, when I come through with my rail, which I need to get rail. Alright, I think we listened to this whole tape, so we're going to swap tapes here after I get this in. Because I've heard this tape quite a bit. Then you can either go to the end if you want it to look straight all the way to the end, or if you want your transition to start at the end of the plate, you can go to the middle of the last plate. So I'll do middle on this one. And then what we want to do is fly over to where we're going to transition. And then we can straighten it out over here. And that'll give us, it's not exactly a smooth transition. You can see it kind of S-curves, but it gets us there. I'm kind of curious if we back this up, if I really wanted to get a good transition, like where would that be at? And so if we look at where 45 would have landed us, kind of see, that's more than 45. So 45 would have been probably out another one. So what we can do, and if we want to go over this hill, this will be interesting. Let's try making this a little prettier. Go 4, and let's change this to vert. Come up 1 here, like that. Now we're following the contour of the land there, and kind of gave us like a foundation base. Oops, gotta go back to Zoop. Okay, so now we've lifted and turned at the same time, which and this is one of the reasons I like doing the open curve model. And now if I swing out here to where we're at, yeah, see, now we're hitting straighter. If we come to the edge, we're straight. So that's good. And then we can just run this down our line like this. And we'll just delete these. Then we're going to blow this up. Like that. And we're good. Yeah, that's a nice smooth transition. And you almost don't even notice the elevation change, um, which is really great. Unlike this, where you can totally see that it's clipping through the terrain and stuff like that. Rails will do the same thing, and in different parts of my existing rail system, you'll see that I tried not to do it, but you can see I kind of dip into the dirt there. Um, but we're better than that now. That was Newville, which is I think it's kind of funny that I actually called this save No Noobs when I made all kind of new mistakes. That's why we're rebuilding it. We're gonna make it actually a no noob build. Okay, so now that we're closer, we can see that we're not in line to turn into the station. So we're gonna do another turn. We'll do this again. Turn this. Then we can go back to square if we wanted to. I don't think we want to. I think I want to do a slight and kind of run it in on a smoother transition. So if we do that, you know, one of the things we can do is, now that we have kind of the angle that we want, we can grab a rail and kind of see where does this transition naturally fall to the center of the plate, which it's only 2 plates away, which is great. So we're going to hit that second plate and drop in our transition. Oops. Okay, and then run this out. And we'll remove our extra pieces like that. And put some rail in here. I do tend to do these transitions to mid-plate because I think it makes the transition smoother for whatever reason. And I missed. I am not straight. It looked straight, but it wasn't. Just one click over, and I'm good. Now I'm straight. And we'll go... on 10 plates, I should be able to make it to the middle of the last one, which I did. Now here, I should be able to just hit the end of this and drop right into the station. It looks like that's good. It looks like we might be clipping the end here. So I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to redo this rail to come to the end of that plate instead. Because we're doing an elevation change, coming to the end will keep you from clipping through your plates. Oh boy. That's a collision waiting to happen. Who wants to see a train crash? Boom. There we go. Alright. That... Oh. No, I could almost... That almost fits underneath. When I saw that train go by. I could reroute this underneath for the time being. I think that's our quick fix. Take this rail and that rail, and we're gonna route this bad boy this way. Just a quick and dirty fix here, just to avoid the collision. Watch out, doggo. Lassie, that's Lassie. Alright, that should keep us from having a train collision. We just need a train. Hello? Anybody out there? Oh, we wanted to switch tapes. Oh, okay. Let's see. What else do we have in our music library? Oh, here comes a train. Up and around. And coming through. Down you go. Oh, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Alright. Let's open up this. Let's change tapes. Happy fixed day. I don't know what this is. Okay. Yep, I've never heard this one. Wow, that's special. Okay, that's a load station. So we need to make this one an unload station. I want to do that first because I forget to do that all the time. All the time. As I just remember to do it, right? I guess it's not all the time, but it's something I forget a lot to do, is to mark my destination as unload. Alright. Let's turn this station name into this is going to be foundations concrete input. Sure, why not? Oh, how are we doing on power? We're good. We're gonna have to watch our power because we're right up against it. So we're only running 2 reactors right now, and I don't think both of them are running. One of those is not running. Why are you not running? Probably don't have enough of something. Well, obviously you don't have a fuel rod if you're not running. This reminds me of like Mega Man. Yeah, no fuel. Why don't you have fuel? Why no fuel you have? Why aren't you running? Because you don't have encased uranium cells. Why don't you have encased uranium cells? Because you don't have enough uranium. Why don't you have enough uranium? Why are you not delivering uranium? Are you really just that slow? Where's the uranium, dude? Jeez, oh Pete's. Well, that took forever for not a lot. We might have to increase that miner up there. Because that is not good. Only delivered 37. We gotta take a look at this real quick. Oh, that's way over there though. Way over, wait, hold on. Not over there. Over there. Up there. There's the other drone port way off in the distance. I don't want to go out there. We're good enough for now. We're still powered. That's the important thing. I'll have to figure out how to improve that throughput of uranium. Okay. I think what we're going to do is just to make sure that everything is kosher here. I think I'll just throw a splitter on this. And we'll just load this into our train station. And this is going to be kind of our pattern for our node resources that we use for our cities, we're just going to hit these different nodes and we're just going to push them into our cities. Um, this is just a normal node, and we're going to need more than that. And I think what we'll end up doing is stealing. I mean, we could route all of them into one. The question is, do we reuse the stations and route multiple trains in and out of them? I think we might. I like the color scheme that put on that. What am I doing here? This is our concrete. Oh, hang on. I gotta think about this. The tail end stations don't really matter on the names for the timetables. Because what we need to do is, this needs to be, our destination is here. Concrete mine 1. Okay, yeah, let's see, we got, yeah, when we get our uranium delivery, we're fine. We're way over what we're using. Okay. Alright. Now for the timetable for this one, we want to go add... Oh, cool. The nice thing is because this rail is only going between 2 stations, it makes our timetable creation real easy. Go here and here. And on input, we're going to unload only... Actually, we don't even need to add the timetable stuff. It can only do one thing. It can only load on one side and it can only unload. We don't actually need to define a timetable. But yeah, besides the stations. So if we turn this on, make sure it works. Okay, we're gonna wait. We don't have anything to deliver yet. Ooh, good time for coffee while we ride the train. Apparently this was an anniversary tape for Satisfactory. It's like birthday songs and stuff like that. Because this is Happy Birthday. Done with an island feel. Okay, that is the full tape. Let's change this because this one's driving me nuts. Oh, but we gotta finish it. Alright, we're gonna be listening to this until we get to the next station. And then we'll start the construction of our first city block. Which our delivery spline. Uh-oh, is our truck out of gas again? I think it is. What? No. I don't know what that is. We'll have to see what that is. We got something that's not happy. And verify the unload. Nice. That's working as designed. Excellent. Okay. One is unhappy over here. Oh, we gotta change tapes here. Okay, that was happy. Fix day. Me in my golf cart. Joel Syntham. Okay. Let's see. Oh, this is a train issue. We got multiples over here. Oh, where is it at? We need trains, not stations, but the actual trains. Vehicles, trains, turn them on. Oh, here. Why the heck are we messed up over there? Let's shoot ourselves over there since we're right here by hyper cannon. There's Pittsburgh Station right there, which is where it's flagging everybody. Oh, I bet you we have a stuck train. There's one train that I think has a hard time with this hill. Because he's stuck behind whatever's up here. Oh, I see a red light there. Oh, hey, why not pick up a Sumer's sloop? Sumer's loop? However you want to say it. I've heard it called Sumer sloop or Sumer's loop. Wait, no, why? We're green here. He just took off. What the hell? Did you guys unjam yourselves? I'm confused. How, where am I? What? Well, it worked itself out. Okay. I guess we'll shoot ourselves back over. Yeah. Our hypertube network's working okay. I'm gonna see about dropping out of the sky right by the hub, because we talked about this is really loud. Uh-oh, too far. Nope. I was messing with the jukebox and instead and missed my opportunity to drop us headfirst into the hub. Maybe that's how we'll end the episode, to see if we die. Okay, so that's concrete. The other thing that we're going to need is iron. Those are the only two inputs that we have coming into this. We have a lot of iron nodes, like right here, as well. We are going to train some of them in from the start area, because I think these are normals or impures. Normal, 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 and then there's some over here as well. I think these are probably also normals. Normal. This one's not used. Normal. Normal. So we've got 6 normals there. That's plenty of iron for what we need. But if we really want to leverage the best stuff, there's pure nodes over there. I think we've got 3 pure nodes in that corner, just past the space elevator. I think that's all of our iron in this area. We're going to zoom up on our city area here and take a look. So we're going to keep the city area in this flat here. From the waterfall to the shore is going to be basically our city limits. And then because steel is going to be pretty much this end of the plateau here, and we're going to do probably our nuclear in this corner here. Our current steel production's right here too, um, but this is a self-contained because it has the iron. So let's turn our resources back on and see what we have available for our iron delivery. And then, because we need to make sure we have enough room for and figure out how we're going to deliver our iron before we do our conveyor. Like it would kind of like get an idea of our rail yard. And that's going to be important when we do the other cities too. So resources, let's turn those on. Okay, so we have a bunch of iron up here. Oh, that's a pure node up there. Pure. Wow, I'm actually thinking that when we do steel up here, because these are impures. Normal, normal. This is normal, 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 normal. This is actually better coal, but this is more coal than we need anyway. So I think we'll be fine with doing the local coal here for our steel city, and then delivering that up into this plateau build area. Honestly, we have enough local iron that we don't need to bring in iron either. Because that's more iron than we have over here, because we just have this one pure node over here, and we've got several pure nodes here. Yeah, that's 4 pure nodes right there. Wow. Ooh. What's this one? This one's a normal, and then we said these were all normal. All the ones that we're using are normal. But that's a lot of normal nodes. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, all of them normal. So that's a lot of iron production for what we need. Oh, that's interesting. This is close enough to that. I'm wondering if belting that in might be better than creating a station. It's a thought. Because, oh, I don't have a radar tower over here that shows these ones. I think we're going to need to do that over by the hub. Okay. Let's head over to the hub and check that out. Because I am thinking we may have enough local iron that we don't need to train all of this in. Let's see. How about we drop in? No, 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 no. We're going too far. Okay. Well, actually, no, we weren't. Now that I think about it. Oh, oh! Please tell me that's a sphere. That is a sphere.
This bleeding temple hums a resonance song.
That was lucky.
You no longer perform your maker temple? Helping meant leaving it. Our blood will eat, build, teach. I have no use for blood. You do. Consume. Interesting.
Let's see. Vampires. Oh. We wanted to build a radar tower up there. That's why I was going over there. Let's see. That is under organization. Radar tower. We need computers. Of course we do. Everything I want to do requires computers, and we have been computer strained for a while. We are again. Ugh. This is painful. I really want to get to where we get to our electronic city so I can just mass produce computers. Because I'm tired of this, you know, fighting with this system. It just doesn't work for this part. These are probably not running. Yeah, they are. Okay. Let's see how many we have to steal. 5. That's not enough, is it? No, I need 10. 7. Are we... How many does this supercomputer thing have? 4? I don't want to steal it. 8. 9. One more. This isn't a bad tape. I don't mind this one. Just that it was louder than the other ones. It was funny. You know, in the days of actual cassette tapes, there was a certain type of tape. I can't remember if it was a chromium tape or something like that, but it was a different type of material that they made the cassette out of, and it had a very weird sound to it, or it like it was to the point where certain manufacturers of cassette players. Well, I've got a radar. Oh, that's a lookout tower. Oh, maybe. Do we want to put our radar tower next to the lookout tower? That might be a good idea. What do I got for pathways here? Oh, that's where I'm mining my aluminum. That's not what I wanted. Alright. We're gonna go this way. I kind of want it. Let's look at the map, and let's look at our radars. Other space elevator hub, player drones, resources, radar towers. Okay. Where is this radar tower? It's only going to there. So that's a pretty big radius. We could actually put one in Crater Lake near our command center. Yeah, so I think that's our lookout tower. Let's go ahead and put one next to our lookout tower. I think that'll work. And I think I've got a power network extension out there. For some reason I don't have one here. But I believe I've got power run so that I could hover up here. Because this area is pretty dangerous. But I don't see it. Did I just run through here? Wow, that's special. That's deadly. Where is my tower at? This is so sketch. I should not be doing this. We may die up here. Where is it? Oh shit. we got some unwanted attention. There it is. Well, apparently I don't have power up here. But we do have a lovely view of everything. Yeah, I think this would be a decent spot to put a radar tower. Let's put it down here. And then we just gotta run power to it. Where is my close? There's a power pole there and there. So we can run power off of that one. Up. Let's do that. Alright, get ready to drop in. Oh, I hope I'll get to power here. There we go. I'm like, ooh, I didn't really get a good launch off of that. Okay. To here. How far up? Oh, I saw blue. There we go. That'll allow us to fly right back up to it. Are we too long? We're too long there. We gotta... I call this billy goating up the cliff face. Like, just trying to hit little edges that we can get power mounted to, and so that we can climb the edge. And there we go. Okay, now let's see what we have available. There we go. Ooh, that gave us a nice area to see what we've got. Alright, so here you can see we've got up here, up here, up here, and up here. So this is generally what I would call a starting area. You've got lots of good nodes available to start with. We've got some geysers. Oh, we've got a couple geysers there we can tap into. Kind of dangerous to get down into, but leveraging as much as we can off the land. We've got a geyser here we haven't used. Other than that, I think we're in this area. We have all the geyser power. I always try to grab the geyser power because it always runs, and they make for really good supplemental power supplies, especially when you run into power issues. Okay, so we have an iron cluster here. We have some pure nodes here to tap into. And then we have this iron cluster here, which is really close to where we're pulling in here. I'm actually thinking that our iron delivery station may go behind our concrete one. Let's head back over there. Or we stagger them. We'll make a yard out of them either way. So I guess it really doesn't matter which way we go in, as long as we are able to collect it. With a single rail like that, I wonder if we could do it from both sides. I mean, we have a station on each side. Now, if we call them like north and south, we should be able to pull in either direction if our signaling's right. That might be something to play with. Oh, the skybox looks good from here. Oh, I see something purplish up there. Oh, it's a power slug. I don't care. I thought it might be another sphere, but it's a power slug. So we could do either way, we've got enough room either way. We could do iron on this side or iron on this side. Um, if we try and go this way, we're going to collide into this, which means that um, we're going to have issues. So let's go this way with the iron. And we just need to do the same thing. Just gonna, just a little pop of a station. And this will help us figure out kind of our spline as well. Our spline being our conveyor belts that we're gonna use to feed the city. So go ahead and throw this in like that. I think that looks right. Change that to a station. Come on, change. Why aren't you... Did my keyboard die? My keyboard dead? No. Why aren't you swapping? It's weird. Huh. That's really weird. My hotkey wasn't working. It's working now. Now that I don't have the materials I need. Is that... Am I feeding that in? Or did I put those in there? I don't see them increasing, and I think I'm producing those more than that. But regardless, I think we have our layout set. We can go ahead and build out our concrete. We can build out our spline. So what is that going to look like? Let's see. We're going to have to go up. Oh, I never noticed that before. There's a little status indicator on the stations. Huh. How did I never notice that before? Weird. Oh, looks like we ran out of default names finally on our stations. So with these stations, up or under is usually what we have for options because we don't want to cross the rails, right? We don't want our trains driving through conveyor belts. On the server, I went over, and it doesn't look horrible. We're only doing a single line. I wonder. We could sneak it right between the stations there, couldn't we? No, we're doing output. Well, yeah, we could, right between the stations. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. So if we do this, what if we bring it up to the kind of the height of the bar? Yeah. Like there, maybe? Or there. Let's try here. See what that looks like. And then this would... We've only got the 2 stations. So how would I want to do that? Nope, no, don't do that. Huh. That might be an issue. Because I can't attach my... Yeah, see, that just keeps wanting to do that. So what I'd have to do is put in on here. Let's do one more row for our logistics. I don't know how I grabbed the cable instead of the platform. Then let's do our conveyor poles. And if we line those up with this, come out to center. And I think we are on this one. Now the thing is that there's vertical. Basically, the way everything works out, and they've done a really good job with this, is that wherever your lift heights are off of anything, based on, unless it's the ground is it doesn't work. But if you're building off of a platform and or a foundation, if you're building off a foundation and you have something that has a lift and you're using conveyor poles, they will line up um, so that when you run a belt between the two, there's no incline change. Perfectly straight and level. It's beautiful the way the way they've done their models. I mean, look, there's no flaw in that whatsoever. The only thing I wish is that, you know, there were some considerations for running what I just did, right? Um, Although it looks pretty good from the rest of the station perspective, just that side clipping is the only thing that bugs me. Alright, so now we have that. And um, if we bring out our... we can go straight, we can come up one. I think let's just go straight. Let's go ahead and run this to the bottom. So that'll be our base level. And then here we'll bring our lift down to the level of the second belt. Like so. Okay. And that's going to be our input spline. So every city block will pull its resources off of this conveyor. So this is going to be Main Street, basically. So let's go ahead and lay this out a little bit. We'll just go out. Let's go out 20 to just kind of get a feel for it. Oh, and I don't know if you knew this. I think I knew this at one point and totally forgot about it. But this crash site's out here, right? And we've already picked the hard drive out of this, right? It's empty. Now it's just an eyesore. Well, what you can do is if you go into your dismantle mode, you can dismantle the crash site and get it off your map and just pick up all your pieces. And so now it's just gone, and you get things out of it too. Like we get rods and plates and wire out of that by dismantling it. So you get some extra free resources from a crash site, plus the ones that are already scattered around. So cable and rods and rotors and all the body parts of the beasties that I've killed in this area from the multiple respawns. So that's going to be ticket fodder for us. That's going to be part of our base build. Will be our protein conversion line, so that when we go hunting and we get proteins, we can make stuff out of them. Is that Lassie? Is that you, Lassie? Nope. You're a different doggo. Let's give you a treat. I'm going to stop the music for a second. Where'd our doggo go? It's over there. Don't want to run up on him. Oh, he's nice and close. Here we go. There we go. We got another doggy. Yay. Hi. Let's give you a name. Let's call you Ren tin, tin. Since Lassie's in this area, and this is the old area. Yeah, that's a good doggo. Ugh, y'all look the same. That's why I gotta name you. All right, let's switch tapes. Open our menu, change tape, and Le Michael. Le Michael. Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so we've cleaned up our crash site, so it's not a blemish in our city. That's great. And we'll clean up our power pole here too. For now, we will keep that here. Actually, no. We're gonna run this where it should go, which is on the side of this, like that. Then, take this up the side. And we did hit our 2-hour mark, so it's going to be time to think about finishing up. Actually, I want that to stay on the side here. And then we'll run it up to the pole from there, because that angle would clip weird. Yeah, I like that. That'll work. Okay. Oh, I like this tape so far. Oh, and we are getting closer on our assembly directors. I mean, we're 58 away. Um, they're very, very slow coming in because of our computer issue, with those computers coming in so slow. I mean, I could probably maybe I'll manually make the computers to finish that off. It's like over 100 computers, so I don't know if I want to sit there and build out 2 stacks of computers by hand. That's painful. Okay. So our first factory is going to be our concrete factory, which is going to be our constructor platform. And I think I want to do... So our first floor is going to be our logistics, but we need to think about the size of what our factory is going to look like. And to do that, I want to use these templates that I showed earlier from fixing the copper, or the cable. So this is a 6 constructor floor. It has a center output. For our logistics, though, we will be sending it through the floor, because our first floor will be logistics. But I like this 6 layout, like this. This one is not load balanced, so we got to consider load balancing as well, which is going to be more of a load balance version. Look is going to look more like this, where we have a splitter that comes in and divides evenly, with an outside splitter that splits between floors. So in this example, so we want a central feed of constructors that's going to load balance to 6. What's this going to look like? We're going to... What is this going to look like? We'll go ahead and start on the 2nd floor, and that's how we'll figure this out. So I'm going to put 1 foundation for the corner. So this will be the corner of our first block. And then, do we want to open air these? I think I do. Let's do open air so we can see what we're doing. To start, we can always put walls in later. For my open air designs, I like using these pillars, either concrete. Oh, We're doing a concrete factory. We should use a concrete pillar. That just makes sense. So we're gonna do. How many of these do we do? Yeah, I'm gonna use a wall for reference, because I don't know how many to use. I know that's 12 meters. Each one of these walls is 4 meters high. It looks like it's 1-to-1. So it looks like if we do 3 of these, it's the same height. Yes. Now it is going to change our floors a little bit to where we'd have to use a 1-meter wall between floors. That's fine. And the reason I say this is because we're going to put a platform on here like that. And then let's start with, if we're doing 3 and 3, let's go 1 extra plate out to kind of start our layout. Now, if we do the floor splitting below, all we really need to have coming in is a one of these. Like, this is going to be our feed in, and then this will vary in position based on, so we need this first row to be able to position our incoming source, and we need to have enough space on that to be flexible to where it can get into our balancing. So if we say that that is going to be like this line, so we would have something along the lines of, and I'm putting extras in just to kind of get an idea of what the possibilities are if we were to make this like a super factory, like if we've got just a ton of throughput on this. So I'm pretty much just putting one space in between, 1 meter in between each one, and this one would not be used because this would be a pillar in this design, and that one wouldn't be. I'm wondering, yeah, okay, so the reason I centered this first one, I'm wondering if I can get another one in here. Kinda. I think that's gonna clip through the pillar though. Oh no, it doesn't. Okay. Good. Good. Oh yeah, that works out good. Alright. Awesome. That works with our design. So we're gonna have basically 7 different options for input, and that should be plenty to rotate through and rebalance. I would imagine, man, 7 floors times 6, that'd be 42 different constructors, so that's a lot. We can always add another city block if we need more, right? And if each one of those is a floor, that'd be 7 floors, above 8 floors total, plus an output floor on the roof. The roof is for output, so okay, no, that's good. All right. From there, we want to look at constructors, and I like to. So, and the reason why I extended by 1 plate is because then for 3, we start in the middle, and then put 1 to each side, and that gives us a little bit of room to work. Now that I'm thinking about this though, would this be better I'm wondering if we've got a single input here. Let's try something here. Let's take this out. And I usually work these designs a couple times. I want my this is my logistics line here. I'm going to put another if I do 4, and then another logistics line on the other side. Just for giggles. Just to see what I can do here. Because eventually what we want to do is we want to make blueprints out of some of the stuff so that we can just easily, boom, set them down and do it. But I don't have a design for this yet. So this is a brand new design. So if we have our inputs coming from the outside, inputs from the outside, or do we want inputs from the inside? What would that look like? For load balancing, we would have to do 2 levels, or we'd have to extend the width of our city block. If we do it this way, we can merge into a single line without a problem. Okay, let's do that. So what I'm talking about is if we use this first, remember we're using the outside plate for logistics, localized logistics, and because our floor logistics is happening at the base. So if our input is coming in on this side, we want to give ourselves enough room to do the load balancing between our machines as well. So if we do something like this, and I'll show you kind of how what I'm thinking here. Alright, there's our 3 machines with plenty of room for logistics on the outsides. And I'm going to put in a single splitter, and I don't want it right up on the machine. You can do this if you want. I prefer to have at least one click outside so that I can see the feed belt on that first machine. And then I'm going to put this into straight mode. I'm going to run one out here, and one here. These 3 are load balanced. Alright. Then I have enough room to run a feed belt in from this side. Okay. Load balanced. Now, if this is my center line, this is going to be my merge line. And I'm going to merge these together from both sides. And I want to run this down the center of the plate, and I want my output going away from my input. I want my output to be on the other side. I'll lay these in 1 per machine, like that. And if we belt these together, there we go. That is now our output. Now we just mirror this on the other side. So we need 2 plates out, so that extends our city block by 1 more. It also changes our center of the floor, so we'll have to reconfigure our manholes, our conveyor holes. And then if we want to line this up the same way. We'll start with the center, bring it back to the edge of that first plate, and that gap should be the same. Yep, that looks good. So now we grab that, and we're going to throw 1 on either side. And now we can belt up the rest of those outputs. Like that. And then we put in our splitter. So that is sitting on the face. Bring it out so we can see the belt. And like I said, that is personal preference. You don't have to do it that way. If you want something It's a little tighter. You can also, if you want this elevated, you can put a lift on the front. Um, so if you want to do a lift design so that your belts are off the floor, you can do this. I've done this as well. You put a lift on the front of each one, a splitter on the front one, with the input coming in from the outside, and then you can run this. Oops. There's a couple different ways to do this. I'll show both ways. One way is to um, point your lifts towards the center. Oh, I could have done it with that one. And the other way is to have them point out and put an additional splitter either facing in. Yeah, you want it facing in towards that center splitter, like that. So in this case, you'll have either this belt look or this belt look. So doing it with the splitter gives you a nice straight line in between your machines, where you have a slight bend to it if you just go with there. So just depending on what kind of look you want. If you want the cleaner, more uniform look, you can do the splitters on everything. And that works out fine. This also is then extendable if you want to do a hybrid splitter sushi belt type of thing. So your input would be split basically two ways between each of the sushi belts, and you could start loading out if you wanted to extend that to say like a five constructor floor like that. All you would need to do then is throw on another elevator or lift like that, and then I put that in backwards. Goes in this way. Put in another with the input coming in from the previous one. You just run it down like this. So this is kind of a hybrid split sushi belt kind of, or manifold, I guess is the other term for that. So you've got kind of a hybrid load balancer manifold type setup this way, to where you're splitting your incoming two ways and then you're manifolding it out either direction, which isn't. It is a middle ground between the two efficiencies, because just doing manifold, you fill up the first one and then down the line, where this way you're at least load balancing between two of the manifolds. This works good for fluids as well. I like on my coal power setups, I prefer to do this between the six, where I'll have three coal generators on both sides, and then I'll bring in my water into the middle, and that kind of balances the water out to both sides of that manifold. So either way, those are some different design options for you on those. I'm kind of like this look of that hybrid manifold thing, and the possibility of extending it easily. Well, let's future-proof, and we'll do it this way. You can also do this ground floor as well, just by setting up your, like on this side. If I wanted to future-proof this, all I would do is, I've got my splitter down here, and I'm just gonna basically set that up like a manifold and put these in line. It just depends on the look that you're going for in your factories. Because once you set up your blueprints, it'll be the same way every time. And I do recommend you set these things up as blueprints, and they should fit. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. This one's 5, so you may need the Mark III blueprint to do that, but you could also do it side by side with the auto connect. So you'd set up your merger line in the direction that you want to merge out, and then you could just blueprint your constructors on either side, which is probably what I'm going to do until I can get to the Mark III blueprint maker. Oh man, I don't know which way I like better. I don't like having to lift my. I don't like having to lift and split my imports, so I'm going to keep them ground floor. But I do like this idea of the split manifold, which is what I'm going to call it from now on. Split manifold. Or balanced manifold? Ooh, balanced manifold. Load balanced manifold would be the full name. Load balanced manifold. LBMs. No, we're not going to call it an LBM. That sounds like a large bowel movement. No, load balanced manifold. But that would be the shit. Yeah. In now, setting up the inputs. So now that we've changed our center point of the floor, let's change our possibilities for input positions. And because we have this extra plate out here now, we don't need to go to the very edge, which is fine. It really doesn't matter. What we really care about is going to be this area. Possibly. Actually, do we care? We probably don't. If we go center and do kind of our 1 meter split of, and I'm only going to do it on the one side because that's the last one before we get into our pillar. Those are our possibilities, and I'm going to say that this one is probably not a good option, and I'll show you why. When I put this on here with a splitter, well, maybe that belt does work. Not as a straight. Oh. Hold on. Oh, no. Sorry. Sorry. So sorry. Okay. Yeah, that works. Okay. That spot's fine. That's what I was worried about. So really that would be kind of our input layout there. We're gonna start from the middle though. On this floor. So we want this. I think I'm gonna do that same thing. Because I don't need to load balance beyond that point for each floor. So that gives us a lot more room to try and do load balancing. Now, be advised, if you are on the outside edge, the belt from this side is not going to reach the other side. You will have to do 2 belts there, and how you do that is up to you. Oh, I kind of think I like this. It's not too crammed in. I'm not going for compact build here. We have a huge map to build on. And we're doing vertical modular units, so we're already saving space. This is our maximum footprint for this block in our city. Because we won't go more than 6 on a floor, and then we're just going to logistically manage all the inputs and outputs on that. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. I like this tape. This one feels more like game background music to me. Okay. Yeah, I really like that floor. So this is, I think, for concrete, this is our city block size. It gives us lots of room to manage our merges too, because we'll have to, do merges per floor and merge them down and kind of be able to swap them left and right as we move up and down between floors, or bring them all to the roof to merge, and then we'll merge them down in one spot for our output, which will go out this way. And so the reason that this works well is because our inputs are going to come down this way, down Main Street. I think what we'll do is we'll have our Second Street. Oh, let's see. What would if we go off a center? We have we do. What would we? What's the normal? First Street would be one off of center, but we don't do First Street on both. Or no, First Street is center, or Main Street, and then Second Street is usually a block over in one direction. What's the other direction? Huh. Let's see. Let's take a look. I'll look that up for street names. Yeah, that's interesting. I do think I want two foundations. Do we want a one foundation street or a two foundation street? I think we want two. That way, if we're driving down the street, oh, but that means we're gonna have to move our hub. Well, is that really so horrible that we move our hub? I don't think it is. Not for the sake of city planning. I don't think I care. All right, so if that's Main Street, and we'll call this First, and we'll call this Washington for now. Usually President Streets are cross streets to that, but in the other question is do we want to have more of a street between our belts? Like, would it be cool if we could drive our Explorer through town, through the cities? Oh, it kind of would, wouldn't it? Which means I need to elevate the belts and I need to have a street for Port Street or Station or Yard Street. No, I'll have to think of what. Okay, let's get rid of this, and I think all we need is the upper one. I think I can drive under that pretty easy. I think that height is okay. I'm going to assume it is. And that should give us enough room to be able to split and drop into, well, if we keep the first floor, if we keep this open block design for now, I think we won't have any issues splitting off of the main line. Okay. And then this, actually we're clipping through that. That's a problem. Okay. Just build out our city a little bit. And then I think we'll wait on to do output for the next episode, because we're getting a little long on this one already. We've been over our 2-hour mark for a while now. Alright, this will be the floor of this block. Okay, we have our base floor done. And we have our first floor mostly done. Or at least we have the majority of the content that we're putting there. Just a few minor touch-ups there. that need to happen. Like, need to reroute these belts. And I think I'll go with my original idea on these belts. I knew there was a reason why I didn't want to do the splitter right on the lift head. And that was why. It's because the corner structures get in the way. So if we do this, that avoids that issue. And we get a nice little boom like that. Nice. Then we can do our logistics splitting down here. That is not the right direction. Why are you not the right direction? That is weird. Usually it sets that direction right. Are we the right direction? We're in the right direction on the splitter, which is our output. So this should have gone to input. Maybe we... Why is that? That's really strange that it's allowing that. Usually it swaps over. Now I'm wondering if that's going to work. Yeah. So for this, we want to give ourselves room to do logistics. So I'm going to, between my output, I'm going to leave an open plate and I'm going to bring it into this point here. So this is where I want my input to be. And we're going to come down to one belt above the top, like that. And I'm going to put one here, put a conveyor pole here. Yeah. And this one only needs to be as many as we need, which is going to be 3. Like that. Oh. Oh, okay. Slight shift as we move to the center of the plate, that's fine. Not crazy about this. Oh, actually, I know what I want to do. And if we had a wall here, I would probably... I'd probably put my wall hole right there so that it comes in like that. Then once I get on the inside, then I will bring it down to the height I want to work it at. That'll keep us looking nice. And then if I just run this straight like that, I should have, yep, I come right through the center of where I want to be. Look at that. We are coming up. Yeah, see, this isn't right. That's what I thought. I thought that wasn't going to feed in right. Okay. Sometimes those lifts don't attach to the floor holes right. Okay. We are load balanced out and ready to go. There's a couple things that we missed here. Power being one of them and recipes being the second. Power, I have an interesting idea for power. I like using beam rails, or basically what I call power rails. So if I like the I-beam, but I want it above my signal indicators. So I'm going to go middle of this block here. And I'm going to run it this way out to the middle of this one. Oh, we're a little bit short. And then I will run power to I like the look of the middle of the beam. It keeps it inside and works really well for blueprints. Now the beauty of this is that, like I kind of mentioned before, keeping all of your elements inside of the outside of this, all of this I can make a blueprint out of without having any issues on the blueprint maker, which is fantastic for our sanity, because some of my other designs didn't have that. Well, why did that one work and that one didn't? Did I screw up and put this in the wrong spot? Yes. Bye. See you in a couple weeks. Okay. Yeah, that looks much better. And see, I just love, I think that looks like really cool industrial kind of build out. Cool mixture of concrete and steel. Yeah. Then if we run that beam across here and we put we can do one of two things. So we can keep it the same way, like on the inside like this, or we can do, which is my preference, center line there to this to this to that, like that. Nice little thing. And we can do the same thing on the other side. So we basically end up with this like hexagon shape for our power. And those corners look really nice in the concrete, like it was meant to be there. I like that. Grab another one of these and we center it on the other side. Like that. Now it does, we can power it from either side, or use this as a through to our next block, and we can power in between floors on the outside. It will clip through, you know, like that a little bit, but it's also going to be clipping through our conveyor if we're in the middle as well. But you know, they don't have a floor node to do that. But this is fairly clean, like that, and we're all powered. Now well, no, we're not. because this station isn't powered. So for now, we're gonna bring power off of this one. Then the only thing left to do is to set our recipes, and then we'll copy and paste these over to our other machines. And there we go. That's, oops, that one didn't go. We got, this one didn't go either. What's this one's problem? No power. Oops, we forgot to connect our power to the... There we go. Alright, so we have 6 green machines, all producing concrete on our first floor, and then on we'll manage the merges. I think I'm going to send... For this one, I think I'm going to send the merging back down, and I think we're going to do the street over. So I think we called this one First Street. Actually, if we do numbered to the north, and we do Presidents to the south, if we do Washington Street here, that'll be good. And I'm going to look that up on what it might be North and South First Street. You know, that doesn't sound... North First Street and South First Street doesn't sound right. It might be trees. You know, like elm, maple, that kind of thing. But I think those are cross street names as well. I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to do some city planning research. But in the meantime, we have our first city block in our brand new foundation city. You know, vote for the city name that you like. Right now the options are Redcrest, Ironvale, or Ruston Heights. I kind of like Ruston Heights. If nobody votes, this is going to be Ruston Heights. But you know, or if you have another idea for a name uh, for our first city, you know, drop me a line on Discord at Senior Concho. Um, and until next time, thank you for watching. Thanks for enjoying morning coffee with me. Thanks for all the clicky things you do on your side, the subscribes, the likes, the whatevers. And for all you factory workers out there, keep building, stay efficient, and we will talk to you later.